Hi everyone, welcome back to the channel. I am the motorcycle rescuer. This is my Honda cb200 and this is of course motorcycle rescuer. There you go. As long as it's working, that's a good quality double. That will absolutely do the job we need it to do, I think. And if not, I'll buy a new one. I do still want to use that setup, so I am still going to chop. These ones are screwing. So you screw the caps off. To be fair, the red leads are brand new and quite nice actually. Would the bit of red look nice sticking out? Nah, I prefer black. Alright, I'm going to switch these over and actually I'm going to mount this and do the wiring now while we're here, because it will be fine. It will be the full-time part. It actually has exactly the same hole slots as well, so definitely the right part. The main thing I'd need to work out though is what wire goes where. I'll have to kind of play with that when I've got fuel again, really. I mean, it can only go two ways anyway, and I'm not sure if each wire does a separate thing anyway. Actually, I think you can do them either way. So let me switch that over. I'm going to get that mounted, get that ready and set up so that we're good to go. Put it back on the bike. Like I said, I'm going to remove the bottom brackets if easy enough to do so. Give them a quick clean. Yeah. So the new coil is kind of mocked on. If this coil is working, I have to kind of work out. I think it is. I wouldn't have kept it in the garage if it wasn't. I think it is. And there's the run the cable around the engine because of the heat, and then there's the clip there, and it's a fat head clip, so I had to get two screw-ons because it's a fat clip. But that's fine. When you get new spark plugs, it doesn't come with them. You just screw these ones off, switch them over. That's fine. So it's up there, routed okay. Obviously I'm not quite sure if there's a way of doing that. Yellow tape is temporary for now. What I'll do is I'll take the little leads home and solder them at some point. Okay, we're looking alright for today's work. I've taken a picture of this, but it is junk. It's finished. So I've taken a picture of the numbers. People get very funny with coils because they don't really understand. But actually a coil is a very basic thing. The coil is not sending the structure, it's not telling it when to spark, it's not doing any of that. The computer's doing all of that. The coil is just releasing a spark when the computer tells it to. It's a very simple object. So you really don't have to worry too much about coils. If you see a two-line coil, generally that will do the job for your bike. If you see a one-line coil, generally on a single cylinder, it will do the job for your bike. I've seen people in the past not have bikes for months because they can't find their exact coil, and I just keep loads on the shelf of single ones. They're just kicking about all over the place, because when you want to test a new coil, you can plug any coil in and test away, test an engine. So yeah, good. Bracket, I don't know why it's annoying me, so I want to get that bracket off and give it a good paint over, so that's done now. So where are we? So the tank's got vinegar in it. That bit's done. I need to get the screw on actually for the other side while I'm here. Put the cap on properly. I haven't got any air filters yet. Now they're definitely accessible. They're out there, but there's different versions. You kind of need a curved one because this side is particularly close to the frame. So you kind of need a squishy curved one to come out, but ideally it would go behind here to have a bit more protection from the elements. And when I actually finally do that, I do also want to downjet the carb a bit. I went up by 12 on both and that's huge. That will be fine now with no restriction, but once I add even a little bit of restriction, it's still not quite. I feel like it's going to be too rich. I'll pop a spark plug at some point and we'll check that anyway. So let me get that bracket off, give it a clean. I want to give it a quick spray, and then today's jobs are done really. There's not much more to do. I'm not even going to throw the magnet holders on the wall, because I'll do that next week. So that's it for this weekend. Got much more done than I expected actually, honestly. I thought I had nothing to do this weekend. Didn't have the funds, didn't have... Well, I didn't know what I was going to get done. I didn't think the side covers would come off. I thought they'd all be wrecked, all the screws. So I'm really surprised. Yeah, really pleased. So, what's next weekend? I think lots of lacquering. I think I'm going to have to get one more of them lacquers. I'm going to have to put some on the forks as well when I'm ready, because they're going to need a bit more protection. So, and I may see if I can do the caliper. I mean, it doesn't look terrible, but it's a little bit out. So we're there. As always, let me know what you think in the comments. Please drop a like, make sure you're subscribed, and we'll keep going in the stunning direction this is going. Alright, me, Stuart and John were having a nice chat about the bike and the world actually. So these panels are good. They've matted themselves a bit as they've dried, which is good. They were a bit too shiny for me last week, considering they're going to be next to that. But they do need some protection on them, so I am going to spray them today. And really, they should dry tomorrow. I should be able to remount them tomorrow. So they're going to be over in the corner, and we're going to be going back to lacquering them. With the tank, John is not very happy with the choice of colour, the black being black. But let's look at what the finger's done. Now the finger's still in here. It's so hard to do with one hand. Now the finger is still in here, so we may or may not see it. Come on! There it is. Finger's still there, so I'm not sure we'll see what kind of cleaning it's done. But obviously I'm going to tip this out in a minute, and we should see a nice clear metal from that. What I do have to do though is get basically run it down into my bathroom, get it flushed out, get some baking soda in there, and is it baking soda? What is it? Bicarb, one of them. Flush it out, dry it out. What? Flush it out, dry it out, get it back here as quick as possible, and then run some two-stroke around it, top, bottom, left, right, the works. So I need to clear this out. I'll need to remove the tap. Will I need to remove the tap? So far the tap's off, but I left it on. I'll remove the tap to help get the excess water and air out. So I'm going to tip this out. You can save this and filter it and reuse it. It can also go down a drain. It's just vinegar. It's nothing to worry about. Let's see if it shows us straight away some sort of progress. We've got Nat here, guys. What's this one called, Nat? Taco. I should know that. I do watch every video, but I don't listen. I watch everyone's videos, but I couldn't tell you what's in them. No. Yeah, split screen. I was saying earlier that you just don't get dimensions. You don't get to see these bikes properly on the camera, and that's the truth. You know, the individuality of it. And actually, I was looking at Stuart's bike earlier, because what I'm looking at is individuality. I'm thinking when you get a bike, something's sticking out. And actually, when I saw this earlier, I thought, hang on, that sticks out, and there's focus point, and there's conversation, and that's what you want. And I like that. I think there's a conversation about this bike. I mean, it could be sprayed up, and that's behind me. I mean, it could be sprayed up perfectly, but I think you'd have a bike that people talk about less than you do now.
And I kind of like the longevity of the fact that you can just touch it up, you know, whenever you want.
And it's thick, and it's actually going to be protecting the metal work underneath.
Because what's that? That's about 2 months now. That's been on there.
Yeah. And that's just a thick olive green.
Just a few coats of army olive.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It just shows you the kind of different dynamics of what you can do here. But actually, they're both focus points. They're both, you can talk about them. And then, and then there's that. I wasn't sure about the colours here originally, but they work. They work. Nat was just saying how I like everything to be black, and this bike wouldn't pull it off because it wouldn't be that different. It works really well. Works really well. He's lowered the front lights, which make a big difference. They were up quite high originally. Wasn't sure about the belly pan, but it's got a real muscle look. It's got a real muscle look, and that's what this is. This, in my head, this is a muscle bike. These engines rev brilliantly. They sound great. What this bike needs is some neons on the hidden away. Nice to see Nat there, guys. I love seeing Nat's bikes up front. He was particularly pleasant about my paint jobs. He said that they were great. He said that I could do paint jobs from a can better than anyone he knows. Didn't he, Stuart?
He did.
He did.
Yeah.
He,
didn't say you knew anybody else that did it.
he definitely didn't say the opposite. Yeah, you know what? This channel has always been about the community.
Yeah.
So I love when people turn up and do this, what we're doing now.
Yeah.
I don't even care if we're working on the bike sometimes, Stuart.
Yeah.
Just love meeting people, chatting. We've got things in common. The tank is fine. It flash rusted even before I could get it back up to put oil in it. I'm now flushing it out with bits of fuel as well, and then I'm going to douse a whole can of WD in there, get that swirled around, and then I'm going to leave it. It will be fine, even with a tiny bit of flash rusting. If you've got a tiny bit of flash rust left, guys, after that, fill it up with fuel to the top. Fill it up with fuel to the top, and then that will stop any more coming. But with the kind of WD, or I haven't got any two-stroke. I had a big bottle in there and I didn't realise it was empty. Once you've oiled it, it will be fine. So I am being a little bit extra. And Nat talked about a couple of ideas that I don't mind if he did either. Stuart said, put it back down to metal, give it a bit of a brush and seal it in. I think that'd look good on this, Stuart.
Yeah, it might work, mightn't it?
I think that'd look good on this. And then Nat said different blacks, which black's my colour. I love black, so actually I like the idea of different blacks. So he was saying still keep the original kind of form with different blacks. I think that also sounds good to me as well. So yeah, that's what we're doing. I am going to take the panels over and start putting some lacquer on them in a minute. I'm going to give them a really light brush with these pads down here, just a really light brush. It really doesn't need anything dramatic. It's just any flakes like this. In fact, even your finger, but then you're going to get dirt on them. So a really light brush, and then the lacquer coat over the top. And I'll do all of them parts, and they'll sit over there for an hour or two to get all together. Then they'll go back in here, and overnight they'll be curing. And tomorrow we should be able to put these back on. I need to drop the footrest. I didn't realise you can't really put them on without scratching them. So I'm going to drop the footrest again in a minute, just so that that's off and ready for tomorrow when we put them back on. I've been, iffing and umming and erring as to whether they should go black. I think they would look great black, but the engine silver I think will be alright. And as Stuart and John said, they'll weather. At the moment they bother me, they're a bit too shiny. I should have gone for darker. I should have gone for gunmetal.
Yeah, they'll weather though, won't they?
They will weather.
Yeah.
So let me get them over there, ready for a bit of lacquer. There's the lacquer there. And we'll see where we go from there. We haven't got much to do. Last week, Stuart, I put a new coil on.
Yep.
New caps, new leads. I haven't even got to test them yet. But yeah, new cap, new leads. Yep. So
another job done?
Yeah, exactly. The old coil just looked a bit rough. And it was an all-in-one. The actual leads were an integral part of it. You didn't screw them in.
I didn't know that was a thing.
Yeah, neither did I.
Yeah.
Until I tried unscrewing them, and then he snapped. But actually, that's a new one, and that was for Honda originally, I remember.
Yeah.
So, maybe a Suzuki. Either way, it will work. I can't wait now to get this to a stage where we can run it again. So even though we've run it, it still feels like a brand new project to me. It still feels like I want the shiny tank and the shiny bodywork. I want the Nat's paint on it and the sides to be done. And then I kind of can't wait to say it's done, Stuart.
Yeah.
So I can just push it in the back of the garage, leave it alone, use it.
Start using it.
Use it.
Yeah.
But kind of let it be. There's other bits and pieces I'll look at down the line. The clutch cable has a bit of a fray there, so that's kind of got to go. So a new clutch cable. We're having issues here with I can't get this to bolt down. I mean, I'm sure I will in the end, but whatever I've done there on the inside, I can't get it to clamp down at the moment. So I'm going to look at that. These aren't the bars though. I'm going to be getting new bars, and I'd like to get hand grips that are the same colour as that brown. I think Nat said he didn't like the brown, really, but I like it.
Yeah.
Especially with the black.
Yeah. Yeah. Piping.
Yeah, or even the if it was all black, it just adds a bit of colour to it.
Yeah. Yeah.
I
always thought that seat works with this bike.
Yeah, it does.
Yeah.
It does. The original was just too big.